Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be testing out the new Makeup by Mario SurrealSkin Awakening Concealer. If you guys want to hear my thoughts on that and see the shade I picked up and hear all the details about this concealer, then keep on watching. Alright guys, let's jump straight into the video. So Makeup by Mario launched his SurrealSkin Awakening Concealer. This concealer comes in 22 shades and it retails for $29. I picked mine up in the shade 460 medium dark neutral. A little bit about this concealer is it has a liquid formula with a natural finish. It's supposed to be long wearing with medium coverage, and it's good for dark circles and acne or blemishes. So according to Sephora, this concealer is a pro performance multi-use concealer that visibly lifts, blurs, and brightens your under eyes and complexions for an awakened appearance. When I saw that Makeup by Mario was releasing this concealer, I was excited because I started this year off reviewing the Makeup by Mario foundation, the SurrealSkin liquid foundation, and I really liked this foundation. So I wanted to see how, the concealer, how the concealer will perform or if I would like it. So let me just show you what they look like side by side. It's pretty on brand for Makeup by Mario with the concealer. It's pretty much the foundation in a smaller type packaging, and I think it's really cute. Minus the fact that the white lid gets dirty easily, I really like the packaging on this. I am not wearing the Makeup by Mario foundation today because I am doing a little side-by-side with the new Fenty Skin Tint Stick versus the liquid one. So that's why I'm not wearing the Makeup by Mario foundation today, if you guys were wondering. So I'm gonna apply this concealer, blend it out, and then I'm also going to do a little wear test to see, how it performs under the eye and if it's long wearing like it says, and if it's gonna crease on me. So I'm gonna test all of that. So let's just jump into the application. This is what the applicator looks like. It's pretty much a standard doe foot applicator, and this is for $60 on the back of my hand. Okay. So the texture on this concealer already, it's thin. It has a thin liquidy formula. It doesn't have like that gel-like feel, like for instance the Pat McGrath's concealer that has a more gel-like texture. This is more liquidy. I'm just gonna go ahead and start blending this concealer because I have no clue how long, I have no clue how it's gonna perform, and I don't want it to dry down on me. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend this out. I'm gonna blend this out with my Sonia G mini base brush. This concealer can use a little bit of time to set because right now I feel like I'm just blending away the concealer. So this is what my skin is looking like with the concealer. I applied it under my eyes and, everywhere. You saw where I applied the concealer. But right off the bat, my first impression is that it is medium full or medium buildable coverage. But it is definitely lightweight. It was easy to blend. I will say probably a little bit too easy to blend because I did not let this concealer set down on my skin. So I found that once I started blending, I lost a lot of the coverage. So if you want a more full coverage from this concealer, I would recommend that you let it set for a few minutes before you go ahead and blend it out. It does have a natural finish, but I feel like the texture, it's more on the dry side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set my concealer. I'm gonna do that right now. And I'm gonna be using my Hourglass Veil Translucent Deep Setting Powder to set this. Gotta be careful because not me filming a video with a white shirt, girl. The level of stress I'm experiencing right now. I'm trying not to get makeup on my shirt. So far, I will also like to say that I do see the concealer settling down in my fine lines, but it's not too bad. So let me just blend this out before I put the powder on. I should also mention that I didn't prime underneath my eyes, nor did I use any brightening or color correctors underneath my eyes, because I want to see how this concealer is going to perform on its own. All right, guys, so I did a pretty simple makeup look today. It's about 2:30. And I've been wearing this makeup for about half an hour now. It's a pretty light makeup day because it's 102 degrees outside and I'm going out. I'll be outside, so I'm not trying to do too much with my makeup. But this is what my skin is looking like right now. So far, everything is looking good. I don't notice any creasing underneath my eyes, and even though the concealer has a dry texture or consistency to it, I don't feel like my under eyes look dry. But like I mentioned, I'm gonna wear this for a few more hours and I'll come back and let you guys know how I feel about it. But so far I don't know. I'm not in love right now, so I'll have to keep wearing it to see how it wears throughout the day, and then I'll give you guys my final thoughts. I'm back and it's now past 9 o'clock, which means I've been wearing this makeup for over 7 hours now. And before I get into my thoughts about this concealer, let's review the claims. So this concealer is supposed to be crease proof and long wearing with a self-setting formula. It's supposed to have a natural finish, and the caffeine in it is supposed to visibly depuff, tighten, and smooth the skin for an awakened look. Okay, let's start with the first claim of this concealer is crease proof and long wearing. Now I'm looking at myself. At first, from a distance, I felt like my face looks pretty good for having been over 7 hours. But when I take a closer look, I can see that my under eyes creased really badly. Like, this concealer creased more than any other concealer I have in my collection. I want to say that first claim is not true. For me, I also don't think it's long wearing, because not only is the concealer creasing under my eye, it started separating on the top of my lip and on my forehead. Now, the products I used today, granted, they're newer to my collection, but I've tried it with other concealers in my collection for the past week, and I've had no issues with the products that I've used on top of this new Fenty Beauty skin tint. So that tells me that the concealer is what's causing the problem. Look, if you can look, I'm trying to get closer. You should see like some separation right there on my forehead, the top of my lip. Look at that. It's separating, and also let me try to get a closer view of the creasing. You can see that. Now, mind you, I don't think it's horrible, but that first claim of it being crease proof, I'd say that's not true. And as far as it being long wearing, yeah, the concealer is still there, but it definitely separated on my skin. So the other thing this concealer is supposed to do is supposed to be a self-setting formula. And I mentioned earlier how I felt like this concealer was, you know, liquidy, but it has a dry consistency. And I feel like that's the reason why. Like, when I first put it on this morning, well, earlier this afternoon, I did not know that it was supposed to be self-setting. So that could be the reason why I felt like the texture was on the drier side. But I don't think my under eye looks dry at all. I actually think it looks pretty natural, like it says it's supposed to look. So I guess that's a point for the concealer, right? But as far as it being self-setting, I don't know, because I always set my concealer. So I set my concealer and it still creased. So I don't know if this would be self-setting on me or on anyone. I don't expect my concealer to not crease, right? I don't want to be unrealistic, because I do have lines underneath my eyes, and if you put product on top of it, it is going to crease. Now for me, what's gonna determine if I like this concealer or not is if it creases more than the concealers that I already have and love in my collection. And right now I feel like it does. To be fair, I probably have to test it out with other setting powders to see if that will help. But so far I feel like the creasing is a little bit much. So I will test it out again another day with maybe like my Patrick Star or my One Size Beauty setting powder to see if that has a better, you know, effect on this concealer. But so far I'm not really loving the creasing that I got from this. Now let's talk about this caffeine that's supposed to depuff, brighten, smooth, and save your entire life. Girl, please listen, don't fall for the marketing fluff, okay? This is just a regular concealer. It's not gonna do any of that stuff. I didn't notice that. I felt like it was just a concealer. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Like, it sounds good, but at the end of the day, it's all marketing fluff. How do I feel about this concealer? I can't really say right now. Honestly, I can't say. I think my makeup overall from afar, it looks great. But once you get up close and personal, it's a little shaky, I'm not gonna lie. For my final thoughts, right now I'm in the middle when it comes to this concealer. I don't love it and I don't hate it. What I want to do is I want to test it some more with the different products, maybe like a regular foundation, a different setting powder, just different things to see if, you know, it will work better with those products versus what I use today. So those are my thoughts on the new Makeup by Mario SurrealSkin Awakening Concealer. I'll do my best to come back and give you guys kind of like a speed review or an update on this concealer once I try it a few more times with other products in my collection. But if you like this video, do subscribe and give this video a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.